You're listening to the Limegrover Coaching Podcast. I'm your host and motivator, Cristy Limegrover. In this podcast, you will learn the best tips, tricks, and techniques with proven strategies to fill your toolbox for life. With over 15 years experience in business and personal development, our unique approach of blending development practices will enhance your life and take you to the next level. So if you're ready to learn and grow, dominate your life, be held accountable, and crush your biggest goals and dreams, then grab your favorite snack and a notebook, and let's begin.
All right, welcome. Thank you for joining. So today, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about core values. I'm doing this one a little bit differently. I am at home and I just had a little dance party intro, which was pretty fun. Today, we're going to be talking about the core values in our mission statement. This is kind of our core purpose and what we're focused on. So in 2020, the year the universe forced us into isolation, giving us valuable time to focus on introspection as well as the opportunity to discuss and address societal issues. Passion is powered by purpose and thoughts are fueled by action. We need to learn how to listen to our voices and understand that we all truly have something to offer in this world. It's been a hard and uncomfortable year, but let's use this time as an opportunity for growth. This year has probably required you to step out of your comfort zone, dive deep into who you are individually, as well as who we are as a community. This is our time to flourish. Nobody had expected to go into a pandemic and a social distancing and work from home culture. Nobody expected our world to break out in protests a week and a half ago, but here we are. We're learning as we go. We're all in this together, and it's our time to figure out who we are individually and how we're going to show up and be better for ourselves. So we can either stay inside and be scared, or we can focus on who we are at our core and be more prepared to show up in our communities. It's your decision to learn, it's your decision to grow, and it's your decision to focus on who you are and what you can provide to our society and in your community with family, friends, acquaintances, coworkers. Right now is the time. Don't let this time pass us by. This is a unique opportunity and a unique time in all of our lives. We've talked about how to grow key relationships through the emotional bank account. We've discussed the importance of our why, who we are at our cores, and the power of decision-making to grow ourselves individually. Today, we're going to focus on our core values. So I'll talk about how we can learn how to implement our core values, how we can get to our core values, because oftentimes we don't even know what those are, and we don't know how to identify and define them. So I will also be talking about that today. So I really liked this quote by Mike Tyson. It said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." And I mean, we've all kind of just been punched in the mouth. We've all been knocked down. We're all learning these new norms. While simultaneously living through the pandemic and our national protests, this is a time in society to gain insight on who we are at our core. Rather than hide and be afraid or retaliate, let's learn and grow. I encourage you to get uncomfortable, take imperfect action, move in any direction that you feel you should. Don't hide. It's okay to lean into your fear. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Keep growing because you're unique and you are important. But if you stop growing, if you stop trying to learn more, you're ultimately dying. Look deep within yourself for how you can show up, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Take the road less traveled. Just like we talked about earlier this week in decision making, don't stay stagnant. It's better to go 100 miles in the wrong direction than it is to stay stagnant and stare at the two less roads you can take. Dave Ramsey said, "If you live like no one else right now, you can live like no one else later." Don't be afraid. Lean into the fear. Keep growing. Keep learning new things, because if you can apply yourself and you can implement new things, new technique, you're only going to make yourself better. So choose to improve yourself and learn how to do that. Focus on your why. Visualize your future and live in your core values. Your thoughts drive emotions. Your emotions drive actions. Your actions drive results. Maybe you saw it today on my Instagram. I'm going to repeat that because I think it's very powerful. Your thoughts drive your emotions. Your emotions drive your actions. Your actions drive your results. You are in charge of the decisions you're making, and you have the choice. You have permission to choose a path and the life that you live. You can live your best life. You have to do whatever it takes to achieve your goals and dreams. Nobody else is going to implement that for you. You have to take action. You do have the ability to do bigger things. We're covering positive success habits, same you, new mood, day 4, core values. My core values, I identified these a couple years ago. Let me start with what core values are. Core values are the fundamental beliefs, the guiding principles that dictate our behavior and can help us dictate the difference between right and wrong. Most of us already have core values. Most of us already know who we are, but oftentimes we get lost in the chaos because we're living in such craziness. We're not implementing positive success habits. It's hard to recognize what your core values are. If somebody were to ask me what my core values are, oftentimes I would just throw things by the wayside because I know on a fundamental level, I've got 20, 30 things that I'm like, oh, this is what inspires me. This is my passion. This is where I want to go. However, I honed in on those things and I now have 4 core values for me as an individual, as a person. These are the 4 things that I try to strive by every day. And I encourage you to work through this as well. My core values are accountability, integrity, learning, and authenticity. Your core values can be very different. Your core values can have sentences. Now, it's recommended that those sentences are anywhere from 3 to 7 words, so they'll be shorter because you want to be able to just say them. I find it really impactful to have single words. You're not wrong if you want to say something that's longer. Yesterday, we talked about the emotional bank account and Stephen Covey. I heard last November from a gentleman named Scott Miller, who works with Stephen Covey, how he came up with his core values, and I thought it was interesting. He decided that he wanted to have an acronym. His acronym was PHILPAL. So his is purpose, health, integrity, loyalty, positivity, abundance, and learning. And so again, he goes off of one word. I had written down a ton of one single word to identify who I was as a person. And I decided to do it like this. I actually want to kind of just show you how I did it because I know for me, I am a visual learner. So I put myself right here in the middle and I started to identify everything that I thought was me. Now, maybe that means that I want to exercise more. Maybe that means I want to eat healthier. Maybe that means I want to live more positively. So at the end of the day, you can make your list. My list came out right here. And I actually wrote this back in November 2019. The day I listened to him speak, I put down a bunch of words on this sheet. Then I came up with, a couple weeks later, I realized, okay, I need to hone in on that. That's too many. That I can't live this many core values. There should be 3 to 7 core values. And that's how I came up with accountability, integrity, learning, and authenticity. That's my core value as a person, as an individual, but I do also have core values for my company. At Limegrover Coaching, as it is a personal brand, our core values here are to celebrate accountability, to celebrate integrity, and to celebrate empathic interactions. They're not the same, but I strive to live through those core values. Now, maybe you're thinking, I can't think of anything that will act as a core value. I don't know how I would even come up with anything like that. We have put together this word search, and I thought it might be interesting to talk about a couple of core values. So Rachel Hollis has a company and it's a personal brand and she has 6 core values. And again, I'm only reading these so you can see that you should never have the same core values as somebody else. You can have 2 or 3 of the same, but you should never be identical. You should always have your own view of life. We all walk different paths. Number 1, work hard and live well. Number 2, you can sit with us. Number 3, be better than yesterday. Number 4, plan to succeed. Number 5, servant leaders. And number 6, choose joy. She went into some detail about why they made this decision and why they chose these as their core values. But when you live your core values and your whole team knows and your whole family knows and you are implementing these every day, you're focusing on them to try and improve your life through your core values, you'll see positive change. And if I didn't mention this earlier, I can throw out 20 different things. If somebody were to ask me on the street, what are your core values? Each day would have been different. I wouldn't have known. But now I can say authenticity, integrity, accountability. I know these are my core. The homework we'll go over at the end is you're going to have to write down your core values, and they don't have to be perfect. You need to take some time. This has taken me a year to get to know that these are my core values. However, take the time, maybe 10, 15 minutes tonight, sit by yourself and focus and just do this little practice and write down as many things that you can. Put yourself right in the middle and know what those are. And then in 2 days, come back to your list of 15, 20 things and circle your top 10. Say, this is what I want to live my life as. This is how I want to proceed. And from there, maybe a week later, circle your top 3 to 7. It's good to not go past 7, but if you go between 3 and 7, that's really a good goal to have because those are going to be very impactful and powerful for your life. So now let's shift gears a little bit. We'll jump into the core purpose or our mission statement, however you want to identify with this. It's also been called your voice. This is how you're living. You have to stay focused on your purpose, and they are different. Your core values and your core purpose are going to be a little bit different. My core purpose is to educate, inspire, lead, entertain, and motivate. I think I entertained you with my fun little dance party. Again, your core purpose doesn't have to be single words. If you want to do a statement, like a mission statement, that's perfect. Do what works best for you. So at Limegrover Coaching, our core purpose, and I'm going to read it verbatim. At Limegrover Coaching, we're focused on empowering individuals to learn, grow, change, and sustain by utilizing positive success habits achieved through celebrating accountability, integrity, and empathic interactions to embrace your best future. How to build your core purpose, how to build your mission statement. That's kind of the next step here. I can tell you what mine are, but how did I take the steps to get there? That's a whole nother story. 5 actionable steps in order to know if you're getting to your core purpose. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect the first go. Keep going. So number 1, short and concise language. I'm a fan of the individual word, but if you want to do 3 to 7 words, that's perfect. Write it down is number 2. Number 3, has to come from the heart. You really have to feel your core purpose. Number 4, it's not about money. Do not make your core purpose about money. And number 5, your core purpose should be bigger than your goals. You have to decide that you want this to be your purpose at your core, your mission in life. This is how you build your core purpose. How do you foster a healthy relationship? How do you foster healthy relationships with yourself? When you understand who you are at your core, when you understand what your purpose is and what you're really striving for, that's how you can get to your core purpose, and that's how you can get to your mission in life. I can't tell you how to live your life. I can only try to inspire and motivate you to get there, to live your best life. Nobody can tell you how to live your life. You are in charge of all the decisions you're making. You are in charge of the next step you take. And if you decide not to do this, that's also a choice. Just remember that every action that you do or do not take is a decision that you make, and only you can hold yourself accountable to that. And tomorrow we'll be talking about accountability. So I'm really excited to get on to that. The question is, did you focus on your why? Are you deciding to grow yourself as a person? Are you ready to build your core values and your core purpose and know who you are? You have to make that decision. I encourage you to live a meaningful life. Live your life with purpose. Live your life to the fullest extent because you only get one. The decision is yours. So for tonight, your homework is to come up with at least 3 to 7 words that define you as your core values. If you come up with more, that's fantastic, because then when you come back in 2 days over the weekend, you can look at it and say, okay, don't need all of these core values. I only need 3 to 7. And once you write them down, you can hone in on it. Number 2, define your core purpose. Define your mission in life. Define where you want to go. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Write down 1 to 2 sentences. There's plenty of training online. There's plenty of people who have talked about this in the past. I'm showing up to explain how I've overcome my objections to better help you to overcome your objections, and how they've helped me implement a positive and impactful life, and how I'm now doing what I'm passionate about, how I'm living a more purposeful and meaningful life. That's why I'm discussing core values and core purpose. And lastly, I encourage you to fill out your habit tracker. So as you can see, although I'm giving you homework each night, or I'm giving you action items each night, they're small success habits. Because if you implement your positive success habits little by little, they'll slowly become a routine, and they'll slowly become easier and easier. So fill in your habit tracker. For me, that's drink my water, move my body for 30 minutes. And I did 3 minutes. You guys saw it today live on cameras. I'm going to keep focusing on who I am at my core, and I'm going to build my core values. I'm going to build my core purpose, because this is the way I want to live my life. I want to live it with meaning, and I want to be more impactful and intentional. If you enjoyed this episode of Core Values and Core Purpose, and I will see you tomorrow, same time, to talk about accountability. Thank you. Bye.